Hello everyone, I'm Nathaniel, and on this channel I'm going to be learning Japanese as much as possible before I head over to Japan this year. Now I'm starting at zero, so if you wanted to go to Japan, or maybe you just wanted to learn a language, then you've come to the right place, because on this channel we're going to see the pros and the cons of learning a language, and the expenses and maybe the cheap parts of heading over to Japan, how to budget it, how to book the flights, everything we can possibly think of. So if this sounds interesting to you, well, let's get straight into it. Hello everyone, and welcome to day one of learning Japanese with my review. The first day was hard. I mean, the tutor was lovely. It was a pleasure to meet her. Her name was Cynthia. However, she was speaking Japanese off the get-go most of the time. I didn't understand a word. She was doing gestures, to be fair to her, but I thought this was tumbleweed when she was saying retry. So you can see that my brain just wasn't computing. I don't know why I would have thought tumbleweed, like in what context would she be talking about tumbleweed. But we learned about our names, how to say them in Japanese. We also learned about the numerical system. So yeah, we're going to be talking about those things on today's video. So first things first, how to say my name in Japanese. Watashi namae wa Nathanaru desu, which translates, I name is Nathaniel, and des is like an honorific of sorts. It's like a polite way to say things. Almost like how in English we say please, but instead of actually saying please, it's just des is showing respect, I think. Then we have the numerical system. Now the numerical system sounds complicated at first, however it is actually a lot more simple than you might think. So for example, we have 1 to 10 in Japanese, which is ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku, nana, hachi, kyu, ju. Then you have everything above 10, so 11, which is ju, ichi, and 12, ju, ni, ju, san, and so forth, right? So what I'm saying there is I'm going 10, 1 is 11, 10, 2 is 12, 10, 3 is 13. And then you go all the way up to 20, and 20 in Japanese would be niju, so 2, 10, and 30, sanju, 3, 10. I think you'll probably get an idea. And if you want to say something like 25, for example, 25 would be niju go, so 2, 10, 5. Pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. You can do that all the way, like for all the numbers, it goes like that. It gets a little bit more difficult to hear and repeat when you get to the hundreds and thousands. For example, 100 is hyaku, so if I want to say 300, it would be san hyaku. But then if I want to say 3,000, which is sen, that would be san sen. And then it gets difficult when you go 3,110, which would be san sen ichi hyaku ichiju. Yeah, 3,110. So even like after learning, I'm still struggling with those numbers. It takes me a minute. But yeah, that was cool to learn. I'm glad it's not as complicated as I thought. In other words, all I really have to do is remember 1 to 10, and then remember the 100 and 1,000, how to say those. You got it. What else did we learn? Okay, so we also learned about katakana, hiragana, and kanji. Now, katakana, what is that, and what did we learn about it? Well, katakana is words that the Japanese use in Japan, but they don't originate from Japan. They actually originate from different places, like the Western countries. For example, words like internet over there They say internet, but instead they say internetu, or it's changed for, spoon. Spoon in Japanese in katakana would be supun. The reason for some of these words having a slight change to them is because some letters don't exist within the Japanese alphabet. So, for example, my name is a great example of that. My name in Japanese, which was Nasanaru, in English is Nathaniel, but the reason being is TH doesn't exist, and neither does L exist in Japanese alphabet. So they replace it with a similar sounding letter. So for TH is S instead of Th. It's quite close, I suppose. That's debatable, obviously. But S, Th. And then instead of it's a so Ru instead of L. So Na, San, Ne, Ru. You can kind of see it, right? A little bit. I still struggle to see the comparisons, but it's all good. I don't mind. I enjoyed learning my name, by the way. That was like probably my favorite part of the session. But then there's hiragana. So let's talk about hiragana and what that is and how that functions. Hiragana is a little bit more simple. It's just Japanese originated words. It's written differently from katakana. So ru in katakana might be written one way, but in hiragana it's written differently. So they use katakana when they're writing, we'll call it a foreign word, and they use hiragana when they're writing a Japanese word. So that's it for hiragana, as far as I'm aware. Then we have kanji. Now, kanji is a little bit more complex. Kanji is traditional Chinese characters that add a bit of depth to the Japanese language. In, newspapers, for example, they use kanji quite a lot because the symbols and the way they're written, they're a lot more compact and you can fit a lot more on the page. Whereas using hiragana and katakana, they're big symbols and it can take up a lot of space. But a problem in Japan is a lot of people can't actually read the newspaper because there's over 2,000 kanji characters or something like that. Rough estimate, but there's a lot. There's over 2,000. Now, learning all those, I don't know. I personally don't think I'll be learning over 2,000 kanji characters, but kudos to you if you have. I respect it. So that was that for that lesson. Most of it, unfortunately, was actually quite a bit of admin since it was day one. And we had to do the paperwork and stuff, and our names, our emails, our logging into the website so that we can get homework. But yeah, honestly, it was great meeting a tutor, and I'm really, really excited to do my next session next week. My overall review of the session for me will be a 7. We're gonna say 6.5 out of 10. The reason I do that, and it sounds a little bit low, but it's still above 5, which is good. It's above 6 even, which is good. The reason I don't give it a 7 or an 8 is because I suck at Japanese. I suck at learning. I get distracted easily, and the admin part kind of was a bit of a buzzkill. It's fine, it has to be done, but it's still a bit of a buzzkill. And then the fact that when the tutor was speaking Japanese, I was really struggling. I get it, 'cause it's immersive. I just couldn't understand what she was saying sometimes, so I might have missed out on a lot of information. But that is just going to motivate me to learn Japanese even quicker, so that when I go in there, I'll know what she's saying, and I'll learn a lot quicker. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do me a great favor and leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you on the next episode of Learning Japanese. Jamata!